Welcome to Chamber Chats, a weekly series by the West Monroe West Washita Chamber of Commerce highlighting our valued members. As always, find out more about the Chamber and our members online at westmonroechamber.org. And now, this week's episode of West Monroe West Washita Chamber Chats.
Hi everyone, welcome to today's episode of Chamber Chats at Louisiana Delta Community College. Today we have with us Miss Kimberly Peters with Positive Outcomes. Miss Kimberly, can you tell us a little bit about what you do?
Okay, well, I am an ABA therapist, which is a short thing for Applied Behavior Analysis. I work primarily with children who have autism, but they can also be ADHD or developmental delays or other special needs. I'm not counseling, I'm behavior therapy. So a lot of times these children who have these disorders, they will get their needs met by inappropriate behavior. Rather than using their words, they may hit. They learn these because it worked. If it worked once, they just keep trying it. So I work on skill deficits, like maybe social skills deficits, maybe food intolerance, maybe difficult getting toilet trained. But my experience is that when a child has a skill deficit for very long, it becomes a behavior to compensate for that lack of skills. So my job is to increase the social skills and then decrease the behaviors. And most importantly, to find a replacement behavior. I think as parents and adults, we're really bad about telling a child to stop doing something, but we don't tell them what to do instead. So as an ABA therapist, that's my job. I work primarily with kids between the ages of 3 and 13. And again, I'm going to try to increase your skills to decrease your behaviors. But we don't just work with the kids, we work with the parents, because parenting a special needs child is difficult. So we offer a lot of parent training, a lot of parent support, because we want what we're working on in clinic to be carried over into the home. Otherwise, it won't be successful. So it is not just the child, it's the whole family, trying to make things more unified and to help the family just be able to function better.
And how did you get into this business?
Well, my background was actually psychology, and I was working in clinical psychology in lots of different ways. And in working with these older kids, I always thought to myself, gee, if somebody had only intervened earlier, like if when you were 3, you taken a right-hand turn instead of left-hand turn, or if an adult had stepped in and said, hey, this is not working, let's try something else that's working, they might not have been where they were. So I was looking for a way to get in and do early intervention. And a friend of mine was a BCBA, one of the first in the state, not something that was well known. And it really piqued my interest, so I decided I would go back to school, get my certification in behavior analysis, and start a company.
So what are some things that bring you absolute joy and make you proud about what you're doing?
I have a little guy that I got when he was 3, and he didn't have any functional speech. He just, cute as all get out, so he'd use his cute card, he would tantrum, he would, make little noises instead of asking what he wants. And now I can't get him to stop talking. But I'm going to tell you something, he had parents that were on it. During COVID, there was a time where his insurance lapsed. They worked with him at home, and when he came back, I thought, I'm going to start from scratch, and they didn't. So that shows, first of all, how much progress a child, especially a child that age, can make, but also how much a difference it makes that the parents are working to.
Absolutely. Where do you see your business growing in the future?
Well, I just started year 8.
Wow.
I don't know that I would say that I want my business to be a lot bigger, because I really like the fact we're a smaller clinic. I'm there all the time. I don't just visit. I live there. I see everything that happens every day. I don't think I'd ever want to give that up.
The relationship aspect of it.
And some of the other clinics are bigger and have multiple locations, and it has its advantages. But I do kind of like the fact that I'm smaller, and like the fact that I'm very hands-on and I'm there. But I would like to maybe increase my caseload a little more.
Mm-hmm.
The thing about my job is you're supposed to put me out of work. Like the child is supposed to make progress, get better, get discharged, and then another child comes in and we start over. I'm not really a place that you need to stay a very long time. 2 years on average, because I want you to go on and have a life. Mm-hmm. And then there's another child come behind you. So.
Wow. What are some ways that our community or even us as your chamber, what are some ways that we can influence your mission or have an impact?
Well, like I've said before, I don't think ABA is very well known.
Mm-hmm.
There are more kids in this town than we can serve. I think a lot of the parents don't even know what ABA is or how it works or how to get into it. Just kind of right quick, first thing starts out with is they have to have a diagnosis of autism, ADHD, developmental delays. We can get into the specifics later, and a prescription from their physician. Now, the psych eval that gave the diagnosis has to be a psychiatrist, a psychologist, or a neurologist. It can't just be the pediatrician. I take all of the Medicaid plans, and I take Blue Cross, private, United Healthcare, and Aetna, and they will cover these services. One little caveat, private insurance will only cover diagnosis of autism and only autism, but the Medicaid plans cover a wide range of diagnoses. That's the first thing. Make the phone call, say, I need help. I will take you through the process of getting authorized for services. I will do the report that gets you the therapy, and we set up a schedule for you to come. One thing people do need to know about ABA is it's several hours a week. Like, it's not just speech, it might be 30 minutes, The kids can be there anywhere between 2 and 4 hours. The younger ones are really there longer because they have more to gain, or more ground to make up is the word I would use. But it could be anywhere between 2 hours and 4 hours, and at least 2 hours a week, or you're not going to make any progress. Once a week won't really get you anything.
You're truly a part of these families.
Right.
Spending that much time. You're a part
Yeah,
of
we've been together for 2 years, and I see them every once in a while in public, and I see the kids, the parents have carried over, and they're just doing great. Fortunately, I do see some kids, and I'm like, well, that didn't last. But it is a lot of commitment. But what I really would like to emphasize to parents, so sometimes they might get overwhelmed when I tell them all the things that they were going to have to do, is it actually isn't more work, it's just reallocating your work. Like, we want to be proactive, not reactive. So all the energy you're spending trying to correct your child's behavior, I want to teach you how to see the behaviors about to happen and intervene early. So it's not really more work, I'm just putting the work over here instead of over there. And having to stop in the moment when the child exhibits the proper behavior and tell them good job. We like to pay attention to what's going wrong as a general rule rather than what's going well, and teaching the parents or anyone in the child's life, teachers, hey, good job, you really get along with your sister well. Thank you so much for putting your dishes up. You really helped me today. Get those positive behaviors and make a big deal out of them. And it's no more effort than when they do the wrong thing. Now, why are you doing that? And so forth. And a lot of it, too, is we are reinforcing the very behavior that we want to get rid of without realizing it. We pay attention when they misbehave. So with the child gets a message, okay, if I wanted your attention, I need to be disruptive. Rather than, I wanted your attention, let me use my words. It doesn't just have to be words. Some children are nonverbal. It might be a sign. It might be ASL. It might be a picture book. But basically, hey, mom, dad, whatever, I need some attention. And give them the attention then, not letting them escalate to a behavior and then paying attention to it.
Do you offer any kind of outside curriculum, outside of your practice in your office, do you offer any extra curriculum for parents on how to handle situations properly?
I do. I don't get asked to do it a lot, but I do go out into the community. I have a little girl who does really well with me, and mom cannot go to Walmart. And so for the past Fridays, I have gone to Walmart with mom, and I have, when she exhibits a behavior, I've stopped right there, okay, this is what we're going to need to do. And, she has a history of getting something. Mom's just trying to shop, so she hands her something. And, I told mom there's no handing her something when she's misbehaving. And, we're on our, third Friday of going to Walmart. They know us well. And just saying, okay, we're going to keep doing this until she sees that we're not going to get anything for throwing a temper tantrum. At the end of the shopping, on the way out the door, when she's had a good day, then really pour on the praise and say, you did such a good job.
For good behavior.
Right.
Of course.
But, and again, that's kind of been reactive. Not that I don't understand. The parents are doing the best they can. They're just trying to take care of things. But it's just a matter of a shift in thinking. Don't pay attention. Don't reward the negative behavior. Put your effort into the positive behavior. Some kids are trying to get attention, but some kids are trying to escape an uncomfortable situation. So timeout's kind of interesting. You would put a child in timeout if they were trying to get attention, but you wouldn't put them in timeout if they're trying to escape a task because you just reinforced the behavior, because timeout would be an escape from
Yeah,
the
from
task.
escape, exactly.
Yeah, I'll throw a temper tantrum when it's time to do homework, so you'll tell me to stop doing my homework, even if it's to go to timeout. I got out of the homework.
So how can we find out more about your business? How would they?
Well, you can go to our website, positivebehavioroutoutcomes.com. We have a Positive Outcomes West Monroe Facebook page. If you really want to see kind of what we do, that's a good place to go because we go into the community a lot. I don't know what the other ABA clinics do, I'm not sure, but we go into the community a lot, like especially every school holiday, spring break, summer, President's Day. We go on outings in the community because what we're doing in the clinic is fine, but it's not a natural setting. So I like to take the kids out into a typical community event. Maybe it's the zoo, maybe it's going to the Children's Museum, maybe it's going to do something for Veterans Day, and see how they're going to do in the real world. And then if I see problems, that tells me, okay, so we need to go back in the clinic, we need to tweak this, because they don't need to just succeed in my clinic. Walmart story is a perfect example. Okay, so she's good for me at clinic. That's not helping mom go to Walmart.
It doesn't recognize other
Right.
problems in a public setting.
Yeah, otherwise, you can't really make the most of what I've done because you got to go to Walmart or you want to go somewhere. But there's really nothing more lonely than a child who gets left behind on a field trip because of their behavior and because they can't handle the child. Because most field trips are probably 2 teachers and 20 kids. So I take them in the community to see what the problem is going to be so I can work on it. But ideally, I want you to go to the zoo with your school or your parents, not necessarily with me. So we do a lot of outings. And I support a lot of the organizations within town that are child-related. Children's Museum, Children's Coalition, Families Helping Families. There's an autism walk in April. We can talk about that later. But I try to support agencies that also are working with these kids and to work together. We're not really allowed to work in the schools much, which is like they're there 35 hours a week. But I do try to work with, any of the organizations. And I have some kids that are also in foster care. So that has its own way of doing things there.
Yes, ma'am. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Miss Kimberly. I really
You're welcome. Well,
appreciate
thank you for the opportunity. Because like I said, I really just want to get the word out that there's help. And if you don't come to my ABA agency, go to another ABA agency. Get help. You don't have to do this alone. There's probably nothing more lonely than thinking you're in this by yourself.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thank you guys for watching. If you would like to know more about the Chamber, you can visit www.westmonroechamber.org.
Thank you very much for this opportunity.